Okay, I'd like to say this. If there's one thing I don't understand, yeah, if there's if hang on a sec. Oh well. If there's one thing I don't understand, it's why people blame it's why people blame sorry, I don't even know what to talk about. It's why people blame the students for the state of the school system rather than the school system. I mean, yes, you have your students that misbehave all the time, but could people act like, oh, the students are lazy, they don't want to work, they don't want to make something of themselves, they don't want to contribute to society. The parents just totally condone their child in the neighborhood behavior. You know, and while that goes on to an extent, it's not the main problem. The main problem is the system itself. And I can prove it by, you know, basic, you know, by breaking the school system down, what it does, and what it says it's supposed to do, but what it actually does in reality. Like school, supposedly is supposed to educate people, but what it really does is indoctrinate people. With all these worksheets, tests, quizzes, projects, and their hoo-ha the school has you do that doesn't really help you get a job. Like, there's also like a little meme that covers this, I might have gone over this before. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of a cell. That's not like the only useless thing or useless-ish thing they teach you in school. But it's used as like a metaphor and expression or umbrella term for all this useless stuff they also teach you in school. Like, back when I was going to high school in junior year, I had to read The Great Gatsby and write papers on it. It didn't really help me with anything. It didn't help me back then, it isn't helping me today. And I'm pretty sure I had to fill paperwork, do assignment center stories too that, didn't really help me with anything either. I feel like students deserve better, but society doesn't really think so. Society just wants to keep spoon-feeding the same crappy school system again and again to people. Whenever there's any talks about privatizing education, people go, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. If you privatize education, nobody will get one. Which is bullshit, because with the government buying out of schooling, private schools could be a lot cheaper than having to pay for public school on top of private school, or having to pay an exorbitant private school fee on top of what you already have to pay for government schooling, even if you don't send your students there due to property tax. So, you have the school system made to indoctrinate people. Give them humdrum assignments that don't really help them with their outside working world lives. Teach them that government's the way to go and shit, and not really let them learn what they want, or even learn what they want to the degree that they want. Like, I remember I did like algebra class back in junior year of high school. See, the problem was that the teacher, even though I had a nice teacher, Miss Watson, she had to move on a lot. Like, she'd teach us this, but then she'd have to teach us this. And I felt kind of a little sad that, in school, the teachers have to move on to the next step in the curriculum so fast. Like, if you want to go deeper into this curriculum, this part of the curriculum, you can't. Because the public school system rushes people. You don't get to learn at your own pace, whether it be fast, slow, medium, whatever. So you have these education systems that made to indoctrinate. It doesn't teach that well. It's moves on too fast, don't get to learn their own pace, and has all this crap like bullying and shit, predatory teachers, all that shit. All that shit. Yeah, it really boggles the mind that people still push this on students. School is forced after all. And if you can't go to private school or any alternative form of schooling, homeschooling, charter school, magnet school, whatever, you have to go to public school. I've been over that. But, and yeah, I could just make this another, why truancy laws are bad video, but I kind of want to make it a bit more than that. I want to make it to why one problem with education isn't like the students, it's just people's general mentality towards education. Like, people think, they don't even think truancy laws should be forced. They think the public school system is ultimately the way to go. Yeah, people here and there will acknowledge problems with the school system here and there, but they won't overall realize this is the problem. Public school is the problem with education in this country. It's not like lazy students or unengaged, enabling, self-entitled parents. That's not the issue here. All these commentators and political cartoonists and even teachers themselves that say it's the issue, they're lying, because it's not. It's the school system itself. It may seem like a cop-out to blame the school system, like, you don't blame people, you just blame the system. But if the system is really the problem, why not blame it? It really is a problem to have, a truancy law-based public school factory model school system. Where, every student has to go with students of their age group or grade group rather than of their interest group. Everyone's just told to sit down in their seat and shut up and do what the teacher says. That doesn't help people learn. And yet people are under the impression it does. Or at least it should. Or that if people just iron out the kinks in the school system, refine it a bit, it'll be better. But that won't be. The public school system can't be refined. Or, let me put it this way, a turd is still a turd even if you polish it. Maybe you can make it suck less this way and that way, but overall, it's still the same shitty system that's made to just keep people down, dumb people down, not really allow them to learn to their fullest capabilities, Instead of teaching people what they want to learn, you teach them what you want them to learn, which hardly ever matches up, to be honest. And it's sad that people think that students don't deserve freedom. They don't deserve freedom to even choose to go to school in the first place. They don't deserve freedom to learn what they want. They don't deserve freedom, to just relax or chill out, for 5 days a week. It has, with a few exceptions like holidays and summer vacation, it's school, school, school. And that's not right. People should, that's not right. People should be able to decide how to spend their time. It's their life, it's their time. It doesn't matter if you're a minor or not. Your life is yours. People shouldn't be making you go to school as the state. Maybe your parents can make you go to school as those that are supposed to take care of you, but other than that, nobody should be really, making you go. School should be a choice, learning should be a choice, what you learn should be a choice, everything should be a choice, basically. In terms of just living your own personal life. And society doesn't seem to think that way. And I was talking to this with my friend the other day, and he said, he agreed with me on a lot about this course, and it's like a lot of people just pay it lip service, like they virtue signal. They act like they care about education, they care about the children, the students, the minors, whoever. They care about the teachers, but they really don't. And I think if people want education to get better, besides getting rid of the truancy laws, they need to get rid of the garbage mentality people have towards school. They're like, people should just go to public school. People should just sit down, shut up, and do what the teacher says. Just obey. Do those worksheets, do those quizzes, do those tests, do those projects. I don't care how much you don't like it. It's school, and you're here to learn, and you're here to do what we say, and it's really dumb. People need choices. They need a choice how to just go about their educational lives or academic endeavors. And the society formed complex mentality that, oh, you need to just learn what society wants you to learn, or what the government wants you to learn, what the curriculum wants you to learn. You know, it's just sickening and disgusting and sad. I want people to just be free. I mean, and have free minds, because when you have free minds, you have a lot better of a society, because people, well, are free. They get to do what they want, as long as they're not hurting anyone. They get to come up with creative solutions to problems. They get leisure, they get relaxation, they get to think better, they learn at their own pace, they know what's what, they know the truth. You know, government schooling doesn't offer any of that. It's just, we say, if this is educational, that we're teaching you, great. If it's not, oh well, who cares? You know, you gotta learn anyway. It's school, you're here to learn, you're here to do what we say, you're here 8 plus hours a day, from when you're at the very least, like, 7 years old to 18 years old. Like, you know, you got like 12 years of, 13 years of schooling, assuming you start school, like, at the latest when you're 7 years old, as opposed to me, where I started school, like, pre-kindergarten when I was, like, 5 or whatever. Young, basically. And I don't see, 8 hours a day, 180 days, over 180 days a year, 13 years at least. That doesn't sound like a really good thing for people. It doesn't. It seems like what we should have. Wait, did I say 13 years? Okay, if the highest age you have to be, if you can drop out at 18 and you have to at least start by 7, that's actually 11 years over at least of school. Okay, I'm reading kind of dumb. I don't know why my brain ain't math, but whatever. You get the idea. It seems like with, like, homeschooling, you should be able to, with any kind of education, you should be able to, like, check in and check out. Meaning, you learn when you want to, you have fun when you want to, you do what you want to and when you want to do it. You try to get some learning in, of course, otherwise you're not really having school at all, are you? But you also try to have fun too. I don't get this whole, you're free on weekends, and you're free the rest of the day, but when you're in school, you gotta be here. Otherwise, we send a truancy officer after you. So, if the U.S. at least wants education to be better, it needs to change how it even looks at it. Like, this education is just supposed to be a place where people are molded by society into this indoctrinated blob or something, die or whatever, die-cast figure, whatever, where you're just supposed to do as you're told and not really get a good education or a good job or get a good pay because of it. Well, I mean, not everyone just gets totally burned out by the system, but some people strive to do great things, but that's like despite school, not because of it. School, it'd be so much easier to make a living in society if you didn't have this damn public education system to disadvantage them, to set them up for failure. The odds shouldn't be stacked against the students. It should be stacked in their favor. Does society want that, or do they want an education system where you're free to learn what you want to learn when you want to learn? You're free to relax when you need to relax, when you want to relax. You're free to learn when you want to learn, when you need to learn what you want to learn, whether it be homeschooling, private schooling, magnet schooling, charter schooling, academy, whatever. And as a result of being free, you can do more stuff and better stuff, rather than, oh, I'm oppressed, I want to learn what they teach me. They spoon feed me. So yeah, that's what I have to say to society about education, about schooling. Well, I mean, school and education are technically two different things, but, semantics aside, that's what I have to say about society, about schooling and education. Do you want education to be a freedom thing, or do you just want it to be the same old oppressive status quo thing? Because if you have the public school system, which is garbage, you're gonna keep getting garbage out, garbage in, garbage out. You know, you're gonna keep getting students that misbehave. You're gonna keep getting students that are indoctrinated. You're gonna keep getting students that are bullied. I'm not blaming this bully victims for, of course, I'm blaming the bullies, but you know, school, they don't take care of kids, so you get bullied. You know, period. And you're gonna get teachers that don't like being there, don't like teaching. You know, you're gonna get indoctrinated curriculum. You're gonna get all sorts of dumb shit. So people either fix their minds to like fix the system, or replace the system, or they just keep buying into it and drinking the Kool-Aid and getting terrible results as a result. So that's basically all I have to say for now. Yeah. Bye.